how much do you think it will be challenging surface for somebody like an Aussies?
It will be challenging, but what I feel is that, especially in women's game, as I've said earlier as well, it's runs on the board that brings a lot of pressure onto the opposition as well. Who knows, they can beat Australia, just make the tournament alive.
Okay, so match number 6, day number 3, Australia women versus Sri Lanka women. What is your prediction?
90-10 in favor of.
From day 1 to day 2, now focusing into day 3 of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2024. And I have Deepu once again back. Deepu, welcome to the show once again. It's day 3. Our focus is on the heavyweights, on the defending champions, Australia, who are finally stepping onto the field, facing Sri Lanka, who have not started the campaign on a good note. We saw them getting defeated by Pakistan yesterday, but it's time we focus on Australia versus Sri Lanka. I must tell you, what's your thought on this game? How much do you think the pressure will be on somebody like a Sri Lanka despite losing their first game?
I think they are already, under the pump. To be honest, losing to Pakistan a game they should have won 120. Or even though the way Sharjah is offering turn and that slow nature, I think even 120 is like par what we saw in the men's World Cup at New York. Even 115 was quite par. So it's something similar, not that swing, but still with spin. 115 odd. I think it's par. So yeah, they are under the pump.
But I must tell you, you said on the first day itself in the preview show, it's a relay at surface, but the ball is not turning as much as we remembered Sharjah has been. Just like in the recent couple of weeks ago, we saw South Africa versus Afghanistan series. The ball, it was a ranked turner, but the two games that happened in day 1 of the T20 World Cup, it wasn't the way we thought about it. So, what are your thoughts, to be honest, about what can Sri Lanka do better against somebody they have never defeated? Because our focus is on this game, Sri Lanka versus Australia. If you look into the head to head closely, Dipu, 7 matches have been played between Sri Lanka and Australia in the shortest format of the game. It's 7-0 towards the mighty Aussies.
Uh, this is something which was expected, to be honest, because not only Sri Lanka, but they dominate every other opposition, and we have seen it with India as well. They dominate India in home as well and as well as away. So this was not really surprising. They are a champion side, so yeah, this type of domination it was expected.
But once again, my question is that Australia, despite being defending champions, despite dominating every single side, now the conditions are really different. They start their campaign playing at Sharjah. How much do you think it will be challenging surface for somebody like an Aussies?
I think it will be challenging, but what I feel is that they played similarly in Bangladesh as well. I believe even turning tracks, still they managed to whitewash Bangladesh in Bangladesh. So I feel they have that capability, even though Meg Lanning is not there. But Elisa Haley is doing a great job both as a batter and as a leader. So I feel it will be challenging, but I think Aussies have always have that crack to actually code the thing of how to win games. So I think they'll be good enough.
They'll be good enough, is what your thoughts is. Okay, fair enough. But looking into the fixtures about both the teams, our focus starts with Australia, the mighty Aussies who are stepping onto the field for the first time in the T20 World Cup 2024. Their fixtures looks like they will face Sri Lanka tomorrow at Sharjah on the 5th of October. Then they face New Zealand in the second game at Sharjah on the 8th of October. Then they move on to Dubai to face their only game in the group stages at Dubai versus Pakistan. And then comes the big rivalry, India versus Australia at Sharjah on the 13th of October. We said it repeated times, Group A is not any easy games. It's a group of death. Similarly, a side like Australia still has to face somebody like a New Zealand, India, and you may also say somebody like a Sri Lanka is also a tough side depending on the conditions.
Yeah, it will be tough, and as they have called it right, Group A is the group of death. We can't afford any slip ups. Neither of the teams, even though Sri Lanka has lost their game, and just it's the nature of this game. That the group is so tough that even if even if a team loses their first game, they are already behind the eight ball, and we can understand the situation of Sri Lanka actually, to be honest. So yeah, it's a tough game and it's a tough group.
Exactly. But you said about Sri Lanka in the first game, and similarly, we have seen in the past over reliance on somebody like a Chamari Atapattu. How can they overcome from that one, especially in the batting unit?
See, some these kind of things, they'll have to come over it, to be honest, because she cannot play forever, and we don't know that writing could be on the wall for her as well. She has
Hmm.
played many World Cups for Sri Lanka, so I think they need to,
Correct.
actually look at the youngsters as well, who are going to guide this team in the future. Chamari is still there, but still, just the other players also need to take that responsibility of actually scoring the runs. I believe they were going good
Correct.
against Pakistan, but suddenly 85 for 9 in 20 overs. That collapse was something which we have not seen in the recent times. So I believe
Correct.
it's that the other batters also try to to take that responsibility.
They had a wonderful ODI in the recent past against Ireland. They played against South Africa away from home as well. Defeated India in this format in the Asia Cup final. Full on confidence, but a massive collapse in some a stadium like Sharjah. Might be the conditions. Just like Chamari Atapattu in the post-match conference said that it was the conditions that was difficult to bat on, but no excuses is what we should give. We have to overcome this. We have to learn from it, and that's what they should do in the upcoming fixtures. What about theirs? Chamari Atapadu and our side fixtures. This is it. Sri Lanka lost to Pakistan. That's the reason why you can see a red mark out there as well. 3rd of October, they lost the opening game. Now they face Australia tomorrow. Then they move on to face India at Dubai, and they come back again to face New Zealand on the 12th of October at Sharjah. Three massive, massive games for Sri Lanka. And I can say it even more massive just because they've trailed in the first game.
Yeah, it becomes equally more important for them because they are already, one game down, and there are no easy sides coming up, to be honest. India has been reaching semi-finals and finals for very consistently. Australia are champions. Even New Zealand will be a tough team, even though
Yeah,
they haven't punched above their weight, but still, New Zealand is a side which cannot be, ignored. So yeah, it will be tough for Sri Lanka, to be honest, to actually make a comeback, even though it's just first game of the tournament. But the intensity of the tournament is such that if you are one game down, brings up a lot of pressure on your body, to be honest, to actually
correct.
bounce back as a team. So I feel, yeah, if they are to win, they have to start winning now.
So now we are focusing into the pitch report of Sharjah Deepu. Opening game, we discussed about this as well. If there is no dew, you should bat first. And that's exactly what both the captains did in the opening game, despite it's a day game, evening game as well. There was no dew, especially in the evening game. The teams that batted first ended up winning the game as well. So what should you do now? 30 matches have been played now at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium. 12 times the team batting first have been victorious, 18 times the team batting second. But I think now in the women's game, if you post something around 120, 130, things might just be different. So what are your thoughts when if you win the toss? Bat first?
Yeah, I'll definitely bat first. Runs on the board, and especially in women's game, as I've said earlier as well, it's runs on the board that brings a lot of pressure onto the opposition as well. And with the surfaces being so low, and with a lot of stick around, tackiness is all there. So I think 120, even 140 is a gold dust, actually match winning total. So I believe whosoever will play on charge or even Dubai during the day games, I think they'll definitely bat first. And also the weather conditions are also so hot that no one wants to expose their bowlers in that heat.
Okay, so that is the reason why you're going with batting first once again at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium. Fair enough. Moving on to the players to watch out for Australia and Sri Lanka. Yeah, my six players. For Australia, skipper Alisa Healy, Elisa Perry, and you have Georgia Wareham are my three players. For Sri Lanka, has to be skipper Chamari Atapattu, Kavisha Dilari, and I've got with Udeshika Prabodhani is my third player. Any changes for you, Deepu?
For Australia, I believe I'll rather take Ashley Gardner. To be honest, I
Okay.
like her acting as well. So she'll be there. Alisa Haley, obviously, being the captains, and Perry again has a lot of role to play in that middle order. So
Hmm.
being the experienced, most experienced campaigner, I think she has been a veteran for
Correct.
the last decade or so. So yeah, these three will be for Australia. For Sri Lanka, obviously the skipper comes in.
Hmm.
She has to make that role again, along with Nilakshmi De Silva. She'll be there, my
Okay.
second choice, and Probable obviously retains her place. So yeah, these
Okay.
three
So
Sri Lanka.
Nilakshi De Silva in place of Kavisha Dilari, according to you. Fair enough. That's also a good choice, I must tell you. But moving into the predicted playing 11 for Sri Lanka, starting with a team that has not won the first game, but I think as a unit they have to play. There was nothing wrong in the playing 11, I must tell you, because the bowling department did brilliantly. Chamari Atapattu marshaled her troops really well. They bowled well, but the fielding was very, very poor. Not just in that game, in the previous game, in the afternoon game as well, between Bangladesh and Scotland. Pakistan as well, when they fielded against Sri Lanka, they dropped a lot of catches. Fielding on that day as a whole was really, really below par. So that's something Chamari Atapattu and her side needs to level up. But I think I'm going with an unchanged 11 for Sri Lanka. What's yours?
I think if they change their 11 right now, they'll just go into panic mode. So I think it's better retain the same squad. Fielding, the off days can come, and obviously with Sri Lanka and Pakistan,
Okay.
I think they have the fielding levels have already deteriorated to that level that they have to actually work upon it. So I think it's better just focus on the basics and retain the same 11. Who knows, they can beat Australia. Just make the tournament alive.
Okay, so that's where you say that you're going with an unchanged 11, but now it's coming to the mighty Aussies. And here is my predicted playing 11 for Australia women: Alisa Hilly, Beth Mooney are the openers, Elise Perry at 3, Talia Magra at 4, Phoebe Litchfield at 5, Ash Gardner at 6, Annabelle Sutherland at number 7, Sophie Molyneux at 8, Georgia Wareham at 9. I'm going with a little bit of leg spin at Sharjah, Alana King at 10, and the experience of Megan Shute at number 11. Tough choices, but I have somehow made it in the line. What are yours? Are you going with the same? Are you going with extra all rounders in the side? Give us your playing 11, Deepu.
I think it will be somehow same. To be honest, same 11. Maybe Litchfield should bat at 4 instead of
Okay.
Talia Mira.
But I have not gone with Grace Harris, the power hitter. Is it something you need to think about?
No, no, not to be honest. The reason being the batters are the high quality batters, and Perry, we never know when she can launch and actually break the glass doors what she did in the WPL earlier this year. So I think they have enough batters, and obviously now with Ashley Gardner is already there. So I think maybe Litchfield can come up the order, play those reverse sweeps in the power play to what we saw in the series against India. So I think it's just the order change. I'll get Litchfield at 4 and McGrath at 5.
Okay, so you're just putting one order higher up the order. Litchfield at 4, Talia McGrath to bat at number 5, and then the batting order and the 11 stays the same. Fair enough. Predictions time now, Deepu. This is a big game for Sri Lanka and also for Australia to kickstart the tournament on a high. Match number 6, day number 3, Australia women versus Sri Lanka women. What is your prediction?
I'll go with 90-10 in favor of Australia, hands down.
Hands down 90-10 in favor of Australia. That is bang on. I must tell you something bold. You're saying two losses on the trot for the Asia Cup Women's Champions. Won the tournament in this format a couple of months ago. Fair enough. I'm sticking to your prediction as well. I think Australia are favorites to win this game, but 90-10 at conditions which might favor the Sri Lankan spinners who bundled out Pakistan in the first game. Anything can happen. Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, Deepu. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this video. He has given his bold prediction. Let us know your thoughts as well in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much, and bye bye.